Would you call the Sydney Harbour Bridge a new name? What about the Clover Moor Bridge? Or the Malcolm Turnbull Bridge? I don't think so somehow. The Sydney Opera House? Clover's Opera House? Or what about Malcolm's Opera House? No, that's down in Canberra, isn't it? Would you change the name of Sydney? Call it Clover? So why would you change the name of Burrill Lake Bridge? It identifies the place. It's after the location. It's a name that's been there for over 100 years. From the very first wooden bridge that still has some of the wooden pylons down on the base of the channel. Why would you change it? So here I am in an early 1960s photo, and probably my favourite photo, because here I am sitting on the magnificent sand dunes, which are no longer there, looking out towards the movie theatre, Burrill Lake Open Air Theatre, which is no longer there. Maguire's old news agency, which is also no longer there, and the 5 cottages by the bridge, which no longer there but turned into something pretty modern, I guess. And we have the bridge and the causeway, and soon they'll be no longer there. So that makes this a photo in colour pretty rare, and I'm glad to be associated with it. It was taken by my father, and I can't even remember the exact date, but I certainly know where. So let's have a close look. Yeah, there's a good old Burrill Lake Open Air Theatre. Oh, magnificent. Great childhood memories there, not just for me, but for a lot of people from those days of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, some of the 90s, and then nothing. Maguire's news agency. That was a grand old shop. You could buy anything there, but we love to get our Superman and Batman comics, an occasional Marvel comic. But yeah, definitely Superman and Batman, and we'd read them quite excitedly, my brother and I. And my brother, who was a keen fisherman, would be out there in the boat catching fish, or hanging off the bridge and catching fish. So here's a closer view, and one can see way in the background there the Burrill Lake Theatre with its unusual rendering outside, and also between Holiday and Cottages there in the background we see the garage, for want of a better term, or big carport where everyone on holidays park their cars. And we're in that one that has marked Cottages, because we have a boat there, and I think that's us playing around in the water there, and that's Mum posing on the balcony. They were the days. And look at the colour of that water. That is just so beautiful. Fresh water, fresh seawater coming in at high tide underneath the bridge. But let's go back even further. Oh, no cottages or anything printed on the cottages. But we can see to the extreme left there what looks to be the wooden bridge. A lot of cross sections there, so yeah, that's the wooden bridge, and Dad had a photo of it. But I think he was more interested in photographing the cottages. And there's the good old Burrill Lake Theatre in the background. Now, interestingly, here's another picture, definitely the wooden bridge, but look, there doesn't seem to be the crossovers of these safety guards. It seems to be different somehow, so obviously revamped, but yeah, this shows that good old bridge, and I used to go to sleep at night with that clackety-clack, 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 as the vehicles passed over the wooden path of the bridge. Somehow that was a fond memory. Here I am as the kid pushing the boat. We used to hire these boats from a family by the name of Greethead. They were over the north side of the lake, and it was always exciting to get one of these very well manufactured by him, Mr. Greethead, boat. And yeah, we did our little pioneering around the lake, or we would anchor it out in the channel when the prawns were running and catch prawns that way. That was a lot of fun. Yet these days, apparently you can't even prawn anymore. That's a real killjoy. I mean, gosh, it's a wonder that you're allowed to swim in the lake or do anything. I know you need a license for fishing. And I tell you, there's a lot of killjoys out there, fun police. So one holiday we go down there and lo and behold, they're building a new bridge and certainly getting stuck into it. Here's an extremely high tide where it used to really race in underneath that bridge. How this is going to do it across with a new bridge, I just have absolutely no idea. But anyway, this and some more photographs that Dad took are the only known photographs the people from the RMS, Roads Maritime Services, told me existed. They didn't even have any. Just goes to show you what may seem as an inconsequential photograph of something happening turns out to be an historical photograph of something happening. And with our digital technology these days, this is why a lot of things are so worthwhile, because, hey, 100 years, historic. Yeah, it's a pity they're going to apparently take out the causeway. Pity they couldn't actually create channels through that with a footbridge going over it so people can go out there, do fishing, or just at least keep some sort of historic reference. But you'll probably get people going, but it would be interesting. Yeah, taking out 20, 30 foot sections and putting a footbridge right across it. Be fascinating. And it certainly wouldn't make any difference to any flooding in the lake or whatever, because, hey, you've got big gaps in between. Beautiful black swans swimming in the lake. A rare sight indeed, and probably rarer these days. Well, here we are out on the lake fishing. That's me in the centre, and I think that's my mother at the end there. And my brother looks like he's conducting the fish to jump into the boat. Dad probably put us out there so he could take this photo. But my grandmother, who's not in this photo, used to go over to the sand flats to collect oysters. Right, now to the left there, you can still see some of the wooden pylons that were there for ages and eventually got removed. I don't know when that happened, but yeah, fascinating. Shows how the bridge went out a little bit and then came in, whatever the footing. There's some fine videos on YouTube of locals who have done some underwater diving there and show you a lot of the stuff. It's really quite interesting. In this closer view of the photo, you see the original lattice entrance that was at the lower section of the Burrill Lake Theatre. I, as a kid, would always go over there and check out those movie posters placed out the front. Yep, kids mecca. Okay, now we have this very old view. Where it came from, I'm not too sure, but we have it. So let's start colouring our world and bring it back to life while we can, and just start to see, hello, the tide's gone out. There's those sand flats again. Yes, it's going to be interesting, the flow under this new bridge. Yes, a bridge that should retain that wonderful name, Burrill Lake Bridge, the one and only. I mean, look at this side. I mean, that's pure settlement country. And how wonderful, wonderful to have this memory of this bridge and causeway, causing the channel to be narrow so the flow is deep and flowing. It'll be interesting, as I say, of what the new bridge causes. So looking like it was only taken the other day, or the other yesteryear, actually August 1960 to be exact. Here we have the cottages there to the right. That's my sister there. My brother with the hat, his friend Teddy, and me looking rather curious at the back there. And of course, there's that bridge. As a kid, I used to scramble around those rocks at the base of the bridge looking for crabs. It was also fun to stand on the balconies or the verandas of the cottage we were in and just lower a fishing line down into that rock edge that you see there at the base, and have a bit of bread dough on the end, and then we would lower the line and see if the crab would grab with his little claw the bread, and then just haul them up. It was all just fun. Speaking of a haul, here's a haul of fish my brother and father would catch either around at Horseshoe or off the bridge. Every August there were teams of the blackfish, then he gives the ludric, the colloquial names for the fish, swarming underneath that bridge, literally hundreds of them. Dad took this photo the one time we stayed in what we called number 5 cottage. Hey, it had a fireplace, and I as a kid thought it was wonderful. Here's another look at those fish. And the thing is, I didn't like eating fish because I seemed to be spending my time looking for bones, performing an autopsy rather than eating the fish. It didn't go well for a kid. So here we are zipping around the lake. Actually, I know I'm the second from the left there, but I think that's my brother in the centre, but I'm not really too sure who the others are because I can't really recall a particular boat like this, but hey, it's a good view of the bridge and the causeway, and there's that magnificent sand dune in the background. How on earth Shoalhaven Council managed to get rid of that by sticking plants all over it? I mean, that was a real smart idea, wasn't it? History in colour, because the sandhill's gone, the causeway's going to go, the bridge is going to go, but we can't let go of the Burrill Lake Bridge name. I mean, it's a badge of honour, a unique identity. Meanwhile, out on the lake, yes, this is definitely us. Love your glasses, Mum. Really good. Definitely 60s. Dame Edna would love you with those glasses. Oh, look at me with my green straw hat. Next to my Grams, my grandma, Mum's mum. And there's Ken in charge of the oars on the boat. And Diane sitting next to Mum. Got a flotsam around there. I think we're anchored in there, so Dad just wanted to take a picture of us in the boat. A bit of a poor photograph, but it's a good one, sort of the bridge behind. Here we are holding up the fish, and I certainly look like, with that expression on my face, that I'm holding a couple of dead fish. Yes, I'm definitely impressed with holding the fish. But once again, it's a good colour shot, and there's the sandhill in the back there, and another one of the bridge and causeway. And part of what it was like between the cottages then. Fascinated me as a kid. Dad must have told me to smile more, so I'm holding the fish up. I suppose I'm comparing it to the size of my sister, which is bigger. But once again, the bridge, sandhill and causeway, and beautiful, beautiful lake blue water. Another view of the causeway and bridge, and way over there to the right is the Burrill Lake Open Air Theatre. Can't plug that enough. And in its pink days. So, very interesting. Here's another good photo Dad took. Actually, these are slides that you're looking at that I've transferred and tidied up. But it just brings out the magnificence of the lake, the cottages, the bridge. Can't say it enough. And long gone now and revamped and modernised and, that's the way things are, I guess. Here's a couple of still frames from the helicopter ride that I have up on YouTube down at the lake at one time. Just to show the area again, you can see all those sand flats, the causeway and bridge, and there's going to be a heck of a lot of silting up, I think. Part of the history. Dingley's farm there, that's gone. Here we are coming into land, and there's that. Actually, it's a really good shot from this angle, looking at the bridge. And it's going to be vastly different with the new one coming in. There's Maguire's old shop, and I think Fletcher's, people by the name of Fletcher's and by the name of Bird had it at one stage before it had its modern revamp. Here's also an interesting shot of the bridge and that wonderful pipeline going across. I don't think that'll be missed. So let's have a run through of a few more photos as we contemplate the end of the bridge, but not of the name Burrill Lake Bridge.